The Australian Football League, the Essendon and Collingwood football clubs and the MCC invite you to join the coaches, players and umpires in honouring the memory of Australia's servicemen and women who gave their lives for the nation. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service. Would you please stand and remove your hats for the ANZAC observance. We welcome today the President of the Victorian Returned and Services League, Vietnam veteran, Major General David McLaughlin.
In memory of our departed comrades, they shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them. In the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the Australian National Anthem, to be performed today by Corporal Deborah O'Toole from the Australian Army Band.
Of beauty rich and rare, It's a build-up like no other. If that doesn't get the odd goosebump or a chill going up your spine, nothing ever. We can see the players here. They've gone through it, so now they're having their last-minute huddle. Some words from the skipper. What's Joe Watson saying to him, Jono?
Probably a couple of things that Hurdy has said to them at the last minute. He had a whisper in Job's ear, which we did see as well. But he's just trying to put across a couple of messages that the way they want to play today would probably be the basic aspect of that. But it's more about their legs to be a little bit heavy, standing there for a little bit, get the run going early in the game and support each other would be the main things.
What did you used to say to the troops last minute before a big game, Rube? Let's get out there and get it on. You kept it simple, didn't you? Didn't think too much information. Let's get the ball and kick it along and let's get another one.
Kick it to me, wouldn't it? Kick it to me.
Yeah, I'll do it. Look, this is a moment that only the players that have played in it can know what it feels like to cherish the atmosphere and Anzac Day clash at the MCG. Don't forget, we'll be catching the St Kilda and Sydney match at Wellington straight after this one as well, so it's a massive day ahead.
They'll be going through the basics, Chase. Keep your body in line. Keep your body in line. Just do your job. Your job is to cover him. You do that. We'll back you. Do this. And just simple things, messages to each other, so that they confirm that they're all together.
The spirit too of just helping your mate off the ground after a big tackle if he's on the bottom of the pack. Little things like that go a long way in big games.
You know, I reckon the simplest message in a big game like this, the simplest message in a big game is do the percentage things early. Nothing fancy.
Did you see Jace help anyone up off the ground ever?
It's amazing how
I was always at the bottom getting helped up.
it's amazing how many times they don't do the simple things. It's finals footy, you just got to win the ball and get it on.
That's right.
Well, a couple of blokes that are going to win the ball, Joe Watson, Dane Swan are in scintillating form. That man is just, he's a possession machine.
I'll have a dollar bet with you, Roo. He gets the first possession.
You're on.
Goddard and O'Brien.
That's a big match-up if that
on the
happens.
wing. They are getting close to a start at the MCG as Travis Cloke tests the wind. And Jake Carlisle's got the job on him. Cale Hooker picking up Quentin Lynch as expected. Some wonderful battles all over the ground. You can hear the crowd. They're anticipating the first bounce. It's just about to go. A packed house at the MCG. Here we go for the first bounce.
Opening bounce, Bell Chambers and Hudson. Side bottom, Watson smothered off the boot by Elliott. Socket off the ground. Eventually they work it forward, but only as far as half back, and the kick goes back towards half forward. Hibbert eventually gets a clear kick and comes across the ground to Stanton. Stanton out wide to Goddard, coming off an emotional victory last week. Got the opening goal against his old team, and what a beautiful kick. Cramry on the lead.
So we've seen Essendon really early, just spreading well. That's their game plan this year.
And Cramry just sets it up. Bell Chambers, the big fly. Hudson.
You, mate.
A lot talked about him. Fancy making your Anzac Day debut at 34 years of age. Yeah. He's in rare air there. He's that sort of guy, though, isn't he? He's done it all a bit differently all the way through his career. Fourth club. Well, the throw-in really gave Bell Chambers a run. Heppel couldn't quite take it away. Thomas got in there, side bottom. To O'Brien, to side bottom. Back to McCaffer. McCaffer off a step. Looked pretty good, the kick. Down the line. Lovely mark. This guy's been impressive. Now Thomas from Elliott hooking the ball back. Sinclair's in a one-on-one. He worked Dempsey pretty well. Cloak wheels around. Then he measured the kick brilliantly. And this would be something if the first goal on this day went to a premiership player from the Eagles.
And the real possession, the initial possession came from Elliott. He's only short in stature, Elliott, but he's good over his head. And he was the one who took that sort of contested mark on the wing that got the ball started quickly forward.
First impressions, I reckon, are always good impressions. Lynch has made a great start to his Magpie career.
20 seconds!
The fans have taken him on board, haven't they?
Yep.
As if he's been there for a decade. And does he? No. He scores the first behind of the match.
Got a good insight into the Collingwood forward structure. They all pushed up. They had a massive paddock behind there, and Lynch was the one who got in behind. But Nathan Buckley did talk about Jamie Elliott. Small in stature, but an ability to take in contested mark.
Hibbert kicks out. Bell Chambers, strong grab. Collateral damage as he came through. Little chip out wide. Bagley. The defensive side of the wing goes very short to Cramry. Feigns a hand pass to Hocking, buys himself some time and kicks inside the forward 50 though. Missed, bounced off the chest of McCaffer. Opportunity for Russell, back over the shoulder. McCaffer bounces one to Brown, back to McCaffer, worked out okay. And the short one finds Sinclair. Sinclair up from left half back. End-to-end stuff to start the game. Goes a long way back to Reid, and they haven't got clearance on the other side, so maybe, just maybe, they'll bring it back this side. No, decides to chance the arm to the outer side. and kicks it directly to Stanton. Not good policy. Dempsey's got it now, runs to the 50. Courtney Dempsey unloads, close. Back goes Brown, pushed in the back. Hands in the back, he'll get the free. Right on the goal line.
It's push in the back.
Good big time player, Brown. He did a great job on revolt in the finals. Out wide, side bottom, Dempsey, Heppel, well done. Stanton, busy early. Pops it up. Cranberry's pretty good one-on-one. Tapped it down, Blair. Collier couldn't quite. He had a crack. Gumbled and whipped it back. Heppel round the body and scores a level. So impressive, Heppel, getting close to 50 games. It's been really a star from day one.
Who's taller, Collier or Blair? They're playing on each other. Like for like. Perfect matchup. Short to the pocket. Here's Brown. Big job for Collier. Blair, an emerging star. Brown sends it towards the outer side wing. The target is Hudson, outmaneuvered by Bell Chambers. Second strong mark to the big man. He's getting better and better. Dempsey close to the boundary line. Goddard just in the field of play. Sharp angle, runs around, smothered off the boot by Reid. Ricochets back to Goddard, scrambles a kick that towards the pocket. Blair, wonderfully quick hands, gave it to Thomas, to Reid. Hudson, nimble. They worked it nicely for Solo, gave it to Clark. Clark goes towards the outer side wing. Nobody up ahead, side bottom. He's waiting for Cloak. And in his hurry, eventually, to move it on quickly when he saw Cloak moving, kicked it into the man on the mark, Carlisle. And Carlisle has been penalised for deliberate. I was going to say continued his great form. He's been penalised. The ball is coming back. And the umpire's whistling like grandma's kettle. It's going all the way back to right half forward. And will be taken out there by side bottom. He waited and waited. And I think Cloak's speed surprised him.
Pretty stiff there. They got away with it there, Essendon, because Cloak had a mismatch on here, but they're lucky the ball got held up over here, else Cloak had a real mismatch.
So back to Reid, and then Reid long and slow and high, and it's okay for Tuvey. And then to Brown, to Tuvey. They work that pretty well, and then Tuvey kicks to fall forward. Cloak's first real crack in the front. Pendlebury back to Cloak. Good hip and shoulder came in from Hocking. He was hard there. He needed to be. Carlisle's held up, ball up.
Real team defence from the Essendon Footy Club at the moment. Even the last passage of play, Carlisle not afraid to leave his direct opponent.
Umpire throws it up. Bell Chambers knocks it down, then proceeds to knock down Pendlebury and somebody else as well. But it's going to be a free kick to Thomas and Blair. Oh, I like this. That is feisty.
I tell you what, you're going to have to be close to hear the whistle. The noise in this stadium means that play will often get played on after the umpire's whistle, so there might have to be a bit of lenience, otherwise we might have a lot of 50-metre penalties.
Well, Blair and Bell Chambers didn't go eye to eye. It was eye to Adam's apple. In the pocket then, around comes Thomas and he pulls it way too soon and through for a minor score. But Collingwood lead.
Hey guys, Hocking went to Swan early. Swan came off at the 3-minute mark and he's still on the bench now. He's been there for another 3 minutes, so he normally has quicker rotations than that, Dane Swan.
We've talked about the impact he's had. He won the ANZAC medal last year, over 40 disposals and goals galore, so he'll be a key factor today. Watson trying to barge through to well. Howlett. Cranberry up the ground. That left foot had a bit on it. He gets it to about 55 metres. Winderlick, that was brilliant. He just timed it perfectly. He stood with Clark and waited and waited. And short kick's not nearly as good, cut off by Lynch. So poor entry there from Winderlick. Dwyer. Side bottom. Such a good player, side bottom. He had a down day against the Hawks a couple of weeks ago and he bounced back so well here before over 80,000 against the Tigers.
Yeah, terrific last week. This guy's been good too, Clark. Out against the boundary line.
15,
Not 15, side bottom, sold into trouble. Makes it look easy. Lynch, he started well. Out against the boundary line, down towards half forward. Cloak almost. Working behind Swan. It bounces down towards full forward. Awkward one for Goddard. Experience there. Didn't panic. Just hooked it back. And concedes a behind. Collingwood 3-1. Goddard straight up the middle. Hooker takes the mark on the defensive 50. Feigns a hand pass. Second option. Hibbert. Stanton towards half forward. Bell Chambers outmaneuvered again the second time. He's settled for back spot.
He copped a bad knock a moment ago, Bell Chambers. Wonder if he's 100% because he took a couple of good marks early. Fasalo up the ground on the lead. It uses the run of Swan, and then Swan's kick off the boot looked pretty good to fall forward. Good effort though at the back there. Bagley has to get it out. Free kick.
Played that well, Bagley. Just backed himself, read the ball in the air, unlucky not to take the mark, but earned the free kick.
Zaharakis to Hibbert. Now he got himself into a little bit of a spot, but he did well. He squeezes to Davey, and then Davey off a step. Now Collier there caught out, and Shaw takes a comfortable mark. Such a brilliant one-on-one player, Shaw.
In evidence again there. Dangerous kick though. Sinclair found it on the deck. Here's Lynch again. That's ambitious. Pendlebury, not a bad guy to go to under pressure, but it was broken up by Davey. Cranmery gives it across to Howard. He was taken high, and he'll get the free kick. Benny Howard started on the bench.
Move it on. Wow.
Lays it off. Hibbert can kick it a long way, and this one is exactly that. Down towards full forward. Brown too much of it though. Reaches over the top. Got a fist on it. Down to Shaw. Seedsman right on the boundary. Sends it up towards the wing. They'll meet at the footy. Arriving quickly. Bagley played it nicely. Down to the brilliant Watson. Oh, what a finish. What a kick. Onto the chest of Merritt. 60 metres out.
Heard that before. Watson to Merritt, and the Bombers, haven't we, over the years? The kick to full forward. Mark taken by Reed. He started well, Reed. To Shaw. Running and bouncing. He's an ANZAC medalist from the past, Shaw. He, Swan and Pendlebury from this group of Collingwood players. Still waiting, teasing. He's a patient man.
They've got to clean up their entries going inside 50, the Bombers. The last 3 times in, it's been marked by Collingwood defenders.
Clark to Cloak, couldn't quite hang on to it. Hocking was pretty clever there. The handball from Hooker to Dempsey. And then to Heppel to full forward. Reed versus Bell Chambers. Strong body by Gumbleton. Reed has to dish it out. Collier down low. Almost breaking, not quite. And then Thomas hacking, but not far enough. And cut off by Winderlich.
Right on the mark is right on the 50. Winderlich goes short. Finds Watson. Right in the middle.
They look like they're going to, as Richard just pointed out, they're going to have to kick some long-range goals, Essendon, because just at the moment those big Reed and Brown are completely on top of the resting ruckman who are alternating down there. Hill and Bell Chambers, or Gumbleton, who Brown's got at the moment.
Never polled a Brownlow vote on Anzac Day, this man. But interestingly enough, his career high possessions, 42, came against Collingwood round 17 of 08, and this one is swinging left.
Some lost opportunities early for Essendon. Just to expand on Richo and Lee's point, they're getting the ball inside, but it's the kick, it's going to the offside and really favouring the Collingwood defender as opposed to the Collingwood defender outplaying the Essendon forward. Long shots, mistimed entries, hurting Essendon at the moment.
Shaw to Swan. A couple of great mates there. Came onto the left, Swan. And then well protected. G. Well Dwyer there, protected the footy. Back to Thomas. Thomas has been lively. Tuvey did so well there. He ran into a dead end, but he was quick enough. Gives Cloak every opportunity. Well done, Carlisle. That's a tiny little win, isn't it?
He started really well, I think. He's positioning himself in really aggressive situations. He's backing his ability at the moment.
Just get the feeling too that the big guy is aware of him. He's got his hands to the footy a few times, and it spilled out last week. Same opportunities with sticking, taken high as Bagley.
So I think we're finding there's a lot of high balls in the forward 50s of all footy these days. So the extra tall defender with the extra long reach is all of a sudden they're not having to keep up with their forward on a long, hard, quick lead. They're mostly high balls.
And this is one of those towards the wing. Fist away, comes wide. McCaffer gives and shepherds. Pendlebury across his body. Bagley got a hand to it. Brilliantly done by Blair. Over the shoulder, Dwyer. Too slow, taken down by Heppel. Back to Dwyer. But Blair butters up again. Watson fit it nicely back to Goddard. Zaharakis. Heppel, fine player. Kicks it towards midfield. Stretching is Shaw. They got the break to the outer side. Uses it brilliantly. Goes out to side bottom. So important as they go forward on that far side. Short to Russell.
So Russell, in his first Anzac Day match, of course, the blue. Carlton. Back he goes. Side bottom. And still a kick and a half away. Now side bottom squeeze to Cloak. Good kick.
We just saw moments before Stanton was actually on Travis Cloke. They had to swap over to get back to Stanton to Swan.
I've always liked him from this distance because he has to kick the ball firmly when he's out near the 50-metre line. He's averaging 4-3 a game. He's averaging over 60% goals from shots, whereas a couple of years ago he was below 50, so much more reliable recently.
And Lee against the Bombers in 10 of his last 11 matches, he's kicked at least 3 goals. He's got a remarkable record against them. And nobody can buy a goal right now.
Getting hurt on the uncontested ball lesson, and Collingwood are forcing the Bombers to kick the ball long from half-back and centre, and they just cannot get any link through the middle of the ground. That's a real win for the Pies.
Hocking to Stanton on the burst out wide. Winderlich right on the wing then. Close to the boundary line. A little chip. The leading target is Cramray. Cramray with strength finds it on the ground, surrounded by Magpies, lays it off to Merritt, back to Heppel, confronted by McCaffer. Untidy kick. How will it bounce towards the boundary and goes out of bounds? Not a bad result for the Bombers. They'll get a throw in. Young Merritt getting involved, and that's a good sign. A youngster prepared to speak up. Hill trying to direct it down. Watson was the target. Watson lays it off Cramray into a dead end. Hand passes to Heppel. Hot potato. Well played, Watson. Gave it to Zaharakis to Hooker. Long one down towards full forward.
Lynch underneath. Couldn't quite. Stanton. Good chance here. O'Brien to mop up. And a boundary throw in.
Seen on a couple of occasions, Stewie Cramray, just his body strength, ability to break a tackle. Joe Watson's in the same boat, so the Pies really need to make sure they stick them.
Hill, Lynch just wins the tap, then fetches it himself. Ball has to come out. Hocking tried to Topo, almost came out to Hill, came to Goddard. Goddard hooks and misses, and it bounced just before the line, or on the line, so boundary throw in. So they've had 2 or 3 stoppages here, close to goal, the Bombers. We've talked about the fact they're struggling with the high ball, and maybe this is their best chance to score the opening goal. Lynch and Hill worked it well. Pendlebury can't quite break Watson, but he does get a little kick away. Zaharakis, very famous on this day for kicking a goal. Well, he got the last one, Dave. He's got the first right here and now.
Boy, that is a magnificent finish. I mean, whenever he's a right foot, natural right forward, he's heading left. Have a look at this. He's heading left to the boundary, so he's always going to be unbalanced. But just one step inside and then put the ball on the inside of his step. That is a magnificent finish. Magnificent finish under pressure.
Hugely important player for the Essendon Footy Club. He actually takes the ball off the opposition more than anyone else for Essendon. Just had the anticipation to know that that ball was coming, and just the balance and the poise. He's obviously got great temperament. He plays well in the big games. Really important player for them.
And David Zaharakis, that goal back in 2009 to win the game was his first ever. We've just seen his most recent, which wasn't bad either. Whistle. And it's going to be a Bomber ball. Well, Chambers will take it, but in a moment.
The umpires can't allow the advantage when it's one of those stoppage free kicks.
Lays it off. Give it again. Takes something off this kick and surprises everybody and finds Gumbleton.
On a slow play like that, you shouldn't be able to hit up a target inside your forward 50. You know the ball's going to come in. You should be able to push back and clog, particularly 35 metres out in front of goal. There's a lot of space there.
That's what happens. The ball's been coming in low and high and long and high, and Reed's ready for the high ball, but wasn't quite alert to the lead.
So Gumbleton kicks truly. This is a great story. 4 goals last week. Gets the second for the Bombers.
Well, he was quick off the mark then. He's 197 centimetres, Gumbleton, and yet the having enough agility to fit into the balance of the Essendon forward lines, to me, is a really questionable thing, medium long term. But he got on the move then. He was quick enough to read the ball on the middle of the field, and he certainly got into space. So certainly showed the agility and speed then.
Nathan Buckley won't like this. You see Jamie Elliott there letting Hibbert get a handball receive off Bell Chambers. That allowed the quicker play on. That allowed Gumbleton to lead out.
should not have happened.
Suddenly Collingwood need the next goal, don't they? Thomas got it from O'Brien, gets it back to O'Brien, out wide to Blair. So a couple of goals to the Bombers in the opening term. They haven't done that for 5 years on Anzac Day. Kick forward's a poor one. Hardingham, Zaharakis, Bell Chambers, Hampel, a string of handballs. Merritt, the youngest player out there, and he makes it blue. The ball got away from him. Elliott, he's the youngest Collingwood player. Swan back to Elliott, back inside. He asked a bit of Swanee there. Swan makes the footy sit and talk a little. Well done, got down low, but he was hassled as well. So good back up there by Merritt, and then Davey, who's so good, as Dennis has said over the years, without the ball in hand, puts on that tackle.
That's his go, Bruce. Arrives quickly. Elliott goes down the line. Lynch, 75 metres from goal. Cloak is back. He's outnumbered. 3 of them back on Cloak. Can he take the mark? Off his hands, it falls in front. Dwyer with a live footy now, taken down. Managed to get boot to ball, just scuffed it. Side bottom got it from Pendlebury. High ball. Blair! Oh, taking his game to a whole higher level. How about that? Blair launched himself from behind and took a spectacular mark.
Well, they're going to need their little blokes to get in the air a bit, I reckon. We've already seen that Essendon prepared to leave their opponents to go to Travis Cloak. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of one-on-one contest today. Richo was talking about them pre-game.
Important kick, this one. Only about 30 metres out, and he puts it through. 4 points to margin. Essendon lead.
Well, he got the decider, didn't he? I mean, he and Zaharakis are pretty famous for that last play of the day on this day, and they get opening goals here. They did need it. It's a very even first 10-15 minutes, but suddenly you felt like Essendon were getting a little grip.
Well, they blew their first few shots, Collingwood, and then Essendon have had a good 5 minutes, so they needed that first one.
Just had the confidence to go, didn't he? He thought it was only me, and he got onto the back of Watson and took a mark and then finished it. So a terrific opening term here. Bell Chambers and Goddard, they're doing very well, that pair. Brown tried to lay it off. Stanton, still with Stanton. Now he's got a bit of time, and that kick out wide to the pocket. And Cramry, and also with him, Tuvey. So Tuvey and Cramry, good match. I mean, they're both quick. Cramry's so strong, isn't he? Bell Chambers winning most of the rucks. Hudson, Blair, Swan, that was good. They were able to get it away. Collingwood, brilliant pick-up, Sinclair. Pendlebury, as only Pendlebury can do, to side bottom. And Lynch, we continue to sing his praise. He's had a lot of the ball in the opening term.
You're talking about skills under pressure. That was classical as the kick comes down inside the 50. Dwyer swings it wide. Short, 60 metres from goal. Side bottom on the lead.
There's a laser pass in there from Heath Shaw. One-on-one contests everywhere. That entry kick from Lynch was about as short as he goes. Typically goes long, but...
he knows to find the space in their side bottom, doesn't he? I mean, he set the ball up in the middle of the ground, but then he just charged into the forward 50 to be the next option.
What a player he's become. 11th possession coming up here. The steal of the 08 draft at pick 11. Kick is on the way. Goal umpire goes to his left. That was a tough shot from there. Minor score. 3 points the difference. Bombers lead.
So Goddard, normally a long kick just to himself, and then gets it almost up to the wing. Front spot Cramry, Tuvey behind him. And then Tuvey down low. McCaffrey was the one that got the first hands on the ball. And the ball up.
Thanks, guys.
Couldn't get a better day for football. It's overcast, that's perfect. Temperature just right. Massive crowd. Well done, Clark. But not a good kick and could open up here. Hooker, but that left foot's been handy in this opening term, and that's a good one to the racehorse. Winderlich, can he go all the way? Measures it. Rattles the post.
that's where we saw the real genuine improvement from Essendon this year, just their ability to cover the ground and spread on a turnover, create
speed, haven't they?
Yep.
Got speed over that whole team.
Winderlick's first Anzac day since 2010. He's missed the last couple with injury.
O'Brien gives it to Lynch on the other side. He's been busy too in this term. Lynch close to the boundary line. Leaves his man, takes the mark. Lynch 7 possessions.
Famous gallop on the kickback. Collier cuts it off. So a few mistakes there from both teams. Collier running and trying to draw Lynch to him. Gets to Goddard.
Momentarily rolled.
Long ball to Gumbleton. Good kick. Gumbleton had to do a little bit of a
some short kicking the crowd, but suddenly right back into the action.
with a running bounce.
Away goes O'Brien, dashing right around the other side. Kicks inside the forward 50.
Here's Goddard.
Missed the hook out, goes to the boundary line here. Bouncing footy, Reed. Once it's at out, missed it. Winderlick kicks inside the forward 50. Hanging on for Grim deep down there is Shaw. Maybe got the football, not sure if the footy or Shaw right now to start watching. We've got a ball up.
There's a rarity in itself. That's only Collingwood's 5th tackle for the game, early stages of the second quarter.
Hudson did well, Turvey. Just pushing up the middle. Swan snubbed off the boot by Collier. Brilliantly done, found a way through Zaharakis. 55 metres out, over the top, will it sit? Winderlick runs deep, comes back towards the middle. Davey, 12 metres out, gets the goal.
He's at 12 disposals. Number 13 as Hudson goes back to him.
It was terrific. Well fought out across half forward.
Those midfield turnovers kill you, don't they? When Collingwood were coming off half back to the back of the centre square and all of a sudden you turn the ball over, your defence is coming out with the midfielders and completely out of position once that turnover took place.
I reckon Swan's had his kick smothered twice today. It's unusual for him.
It's one of the Essendon midfield turnovers there. It's Collier, I think. He's actually been good. He's brought some real leg speed to the game, and Winderlick also has leg speed. So great start for Essendon to kick off the second quarter.
So Davey in his 4th Anzac Day match, spread over a lot of years, by the way, has always kicked at least a goal. Watson held on to. I feel like Collingwood are just keeping up at the moment. Essendon are making the running, aren't they?
Yep.
They got the first 2 goals of the game. They've got the first goal of the second quarter. Watson's long ball, Gumbleton launched. Pendlebury has to wait. Seedsman, back to speed, put Pendlebury under the pump. They've lost it. Davey flicks it out to Cranberry, to Gumbleton, and Gumbleton misses the lot. But when he launched there, Gumbleton, you feel like he's got a lot to offer. Shaw just trying to get rid of a sore spot or two. Next 5 minutes, you feel critical here. I know it's early, but the Bombers are making a little move.
They lead by 9. Russell towards the outer side. Bell Chambers advances with giant strides and takes the mark just outside the 50. Anxious wait for Hudson. There was some contact afterwards. The umpire explained that away. Well, Chambers may have been wiser to let the ball go.
He could have played. He played it pretty well. He milked it for as much as he could. But if he just let the ball go, that's 50 metres.
Tom, it's not that sort of day. I'm sorry. Don't do that on Anzac Day. Bell Chambers, any other day. Bell Chambers comes in and puts it across the face of goal. About 10 metres out, they contest this one. Zaharakis gets his second. Perfect spot for the little man. Camped in front. Angled kick across the face of goal. Power from the defence. And that broke them open. Zaharakis always with that dangerous ball in position A. Nobody to his right side. He just went back on the angle and snapped the goal.
The ground level is important. They've been good. Zaharakis, Winderlick and Davies, they look the most dangerous of the forward group for Essendon. Not so good in the air at the moment. That's not their strength, but certainly at ground level they're showing some speed and life.
Just feel like there's a leak in Collingwood at the moment, and Essendon have found it. And they've got to a 3-goal lead. Their little forwards doing some damage here. And Collingwood do need to stand up right now.
On the ball. Dive on it. Gonna come out.
I just feel the Pies also, Bruce, have been a bit fumbly. Some of the younger players haven't been one take in Essendon. putting the pressure they have, been able to expose and create turnovers.
I think Elliott's a case in point. I mean, brilliant season so far, but a couple of fumbles in that opening term. Reid to Shaw. And McCaffrey on the end of this. So they just need some rhythm footy here, don't they? Some tempo footy, Collingwood. And then they need to burst and break a line at the right time here. It's man on man, one on one, all over the ground at the moment. So decision time for McCaffrey. He sits it up, front spot, good mark, taken from Cloak. Now he's a long, long way, as you can see. He has got a long kick on him now. He kicks the ball to the top of the square. Elliott almost that time. It sits, and the captain just strolls in and gets the goal they desperately needed. Pendlebury. Well, it was a really good kick by Cloak, because one of two things were going to happen. He put it in a spot where Elliott had a good chance to mark, or it was going to be on the ground and Pendlebury able to get that goal.
The value of Elliott, though. I mean, that was a pack marking situation, but even though he's short, he's able to jump, and he created the contest. Ball came to ground 15 metres out. Well, then if it falls for Collingwood, they kick the goal. So he's just a valuable foil up there.
Just see Scott Pendlebury there. You get the sense he would have really worked hard to get to the fore. He saw Heath Hocking, just read it beautifully off the hands. Needed a captain goal, and that's what he delivered.
Dangerous ball, that one. A mirror image at both ends. Zaharakis in front of the pack. Pendlebury at the back of the pack. Kick inside the forward 50, then from Howlett. Going back, McCaffrey. Strong hands. Shaw might be the target. No, he bypasses him by hand. Swan, and kicks it up towards the wing. Hardingham. Zaharakis been in the thick of the action. Hocking, Heppel, kicks back inside the forward 50. Howell at bounce. Reid controls it, has support from Swan. Confronted. Lynch back to Swan, to McCaffrey. Now they're out. McCaffrey to midfield. Dwyer lays it off, tries to give a Shepherd. Pendlebury cruising through, intended for Cloak. Well done by Carlisle. Knocking the ball forward. Pendlebury taken high. He'll get the free kick.
Good follow-up work by Pendlebury. You don't get it and stop, you get it and go, and that's what he did. Kicked it and ran.
Never moves frantically. Just seems to hook up, as they say these days, with the footy. Somewhere, sometime. Kick goes down towards the pocket. Not a good kick, though. Hooker takes the mark. Short. Zaharakis calling his name a lot.
Stay clear.
Zaharakis short of half-back.
Move it on.
27 plays 18. Bombers on top. Early going second term. Zaharakis elects to play on. Russell hanging on. It'll be a free kick to the man in front. Merritt.
Come back on.
Nathan Buckley not amused. Under real pressure, Collingwood. Goddard to Stanton. Stanton goes out wide to Merritt. They've got the overlap now, and Merritt's away.
Kicks to half forward. Gumbleton tries to half volley. Reid got rid of him pretty easily. Back to Lynch. He covers some ground, Lynch, doesn't he? At both ends. That's a dangerous kick. Goddard cut across in front of Russell, and then on the up was good by Stanton to Goddard from Zaharakis, and now Bagley measures it. Gumbleton, when he's on, he really stretched there, didn't he? He covers a lot of ground, and to full forward, Bill Chambers back, courage from Brown, ball coming out from Winderlick to Merritt, and the kid kicks the goal. We're getting a lot of goals in that area right now, aren't they?
This is the Crumbing Players shootout.
It is.
The Crumbing Players shootout at both ends. It's not so much the marking. The marking, I don't know whether we've had a goal from Mamal. Yeah, Gumbleton kicked one before, but it's mainly just the ground level players swooping on the ball coming off hands.
Well, Blair was the other mark, but he's a Crumbing player, isn't he? But you're right. So there's a pattern developing, no doubt about that. And Essendon are continuing to pinch this little break on the Pies.
It's a really fast game down here, and still only 7 tackles for Collingwood. Essendon haven't had many more, 12. That means it's a fast game. There's no stoppages. If it continues like this, you'd feel like Essendon's got more leg speed across the ground. They need to try and slow it down a little bit, the Pies.
Hill knocked it down. Lynch collapses on the pack, and that ball's not coming out. And again, that 45-degree cutting ball in evidence for the last goal. It almost, that sort of kick creates its own space. What happens next is almost unpredictable. After the ball goes Lynch, head down, tries to feed it back to Clark, tackled by Collier, kicks it well in the wrong direction as it turned out, but he was under pressure. Clark keen to make amends, grabs the footy again, touched off the boot. Hocking waited, spills wide of the pack. Davey came hard, Going in solidly, Thomas. Davey comes back into it. Full-chested, took them on. He took the line of most resistance, but he didn't get through.
Oh, it was great. It was great to see. Just real intensity. Did not flinch. Should have got a free kick for over the shoulder. Great attack on the footy.
Right over the top, Goddard won the tap. And then Blair's tackle really good. And again, a ball up.
Well, that ball hasn't moved for a few seconds, which is very... There's only been 17 clearances, and there's been 8 of them have been centre bounces after goals, which just indicates the ball just keeps flowing from end to end.
Hill to Goddard to centre half forward. Watson in that spot. G2 did well. Got out of a tight jam. Side bottom, 13 disposals in that opening term. Swan building as this match goes on. So Swan up to 14 now. So off a step, Cloak. Well done, Carlisle. And then Dempsey to try and open it up. Lynch couldn't quite get to Hill. So Hill, the veteran.
There were those long arms of Carlisle. Cloak would normally mark that out in front, but he's got that extra reach at 200 centimetres, doing a really good job at this stage.
Crameri's got it now at the interchange gates. Similar game this, it sounds odd, to last Friday night's, but without the goals. Here's Dempsey. Free-flowing end-to-end, but the defence is standing up much better than they did Geelong v Sydney. Particularly early. Here's Hill inside the centre square. Just a terrific day for footy, as Bruce said. Scattered cloud, touch ball, Shaw. Well, tried to bluff the umpire, must have heard the call. We did up here, and now we've got a whistle. Compassion from umpire Meredith. Not sure you can do that, just claim it and put your hand up, but he did. Rucks go at it again. Hill reaches over the top. That was high. Kick will go to Merritt. And the youngster has a chance to kick his second goal of the term. He's only about 40 metres out.
Come running a metre, please.
It is clumsy there from Clark.
Very. So,
1 metre.
the margin currently at 15. A goal here, and Collingwood certainly, if they're not already, will be on the back foot. Goals almost impossible. Virtually their forward line is a one-trick pony. Good trick that it is. Travis Cloak, but so far no good. Towering mark by Hill. No, not paid, or is it? He's playing the mark. Hill's got it, and no doubt will go check side.
These are the sort of marks that really frustrate the coach when whether it's a key forward or a ruckman takes it on the line. As a defender, you've just got to get it over the line.
Okay, so with the magic of television, we virtually put you on the mark. You can help out here. Hill comes in. Take some of the credit if you're a Collingwood supporter standing the mark. Mission accomplished.
Well, big chance gone there to really stretch the lead. So Russell to Reed, good kick to Sinclair, made a blue. That's that fumbling that Tom talked about earlier. And then Lynch, that's a funny old scrubby kick to Dwyer. It's all working okay, though. Side bottom, this is the important entry. Cloak sits and waits for Solo. And then for Solo, well done to Dwyer. Collingwood played that so well. Reminiscent of an earlier move in the first quarter when they got the ball to side bottom on the other flank and he missed the set shot. Good stuff.
There was a couple of scrubby disposals in the middle of the ground by Collingwood, but they maintained possession. It's just that ability to... I can't say they didn't earn the non-turnover, but they actually maintained the footy.
So a lot talked about Sam Dwyer, 26-year-old. First Anzac Day match, first season at Collingwood and pushing. So Collingwood missing some set shots here. They've got to take everything they're getting because they're not getting a whole lot right now. They're getting the scraps in the second term.
Hill misses. But then Collingwood miss through Dwyer. Goddard kicks outside the defensive 50. Oh, big leap. Gumbleton couldn't hang on. Turvey hit the ball hard. Well played by Watson. Crameri again, that strength in evidence. Spills across to Bagley. How did that ball get loose? Zaharakis got it in any case. Oh, that's a good mark. Had it hit the deck, I think that Davey would have been away and Russell would have been in his slipstream. On the outer side, it's Reed. Got it from Clark. Goes to half forward. Dwyer elects to play on. Spots a man on the move. And there's some holding. Swan to take the free.
been pretty good, Goddard. He's playing the same position as Harry O'Brien. They're not playing on each other, just playing the same position out on the wing. And Goddard's doing it better, but just gave away the free kick then. Can't wing back.
Dane Swan up to 15 possessions now. At 42 last season and 3 goals on his way to the Anzac medal. And this one misses near side.
So Collingwood from set shots, 1 goal, 6. Now that was a tough shot, admittedly, and he actually struck it pretty well. But they've had 7 set shots for 1 goal, and they're 2 goals, 8 all up. So Dempsey, a little bit of danger. And in fact, Seed's been able to cut it off and keeps the ball in, does he?
Boundary throw-in. Just starting to get on, not on top, but a bit more momentum here. Collingwood maintaining possession of the ball inside 50 turnover.
A bit of parity at the moment, Tom, for after the Bombers seemingly on top. Hudson over the top, side bottom hooking back, and again behind. So they're peppering, aren't they? They're 2-9 now.
A lot of part of the game were important, but actually converting goals from shots is still the most critical element of winning and losing when you're in close games.
Dempsey goes short. Hocking's got it.
You know what happens, they get through it.
Whoops. Pendlebury, half chance at the footy. Zaharakis falling to the ground. Watson to Hocking to Heppel. Out wide Goddard. Floats one again up towards the wing. Going back is Reid. Just got there in the nick of time. Bearing down was Davey. Upended Reid. Cramry pushed across the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. Moments ago, I think Seedsman done in by those yellow boots. Great point of reference for the boundary umpire, looking around the chalk. Game of centimetres. Howlett. Opportunity for Cramry. Well, he was polite. Ball goes along the boundary. Shaw's got it. In trouble. Side bottom, the ball magnet. Got it there by Tuvey. The high ball, but Heppel, what a wonderful player he's becoming. Slips a hand pass to Dempsey. Dempsey goes short, looking for his skipper. And Watson at full stretch has taken the mark directly in front. The champ should kick it from here.
Just get that slight sense in the Essendon midfield, just spreading into space that little bit better, aren't they? They went both offensively and defensively. They've been spreading to chase Collingwood hard, but then when they need to get into space to receive, they're doing that too.
Pendlebury just the 10 possessions so far by his lofty standards. That's quiet. So Jobe comes in. Kick is on the way. Lovely. What else would you expect? 40 plays 21. Down to the sun.
Just thinking, Denny, he does spend a fair bit of time on the forward 50 now, Watson, doesn't he? I mean, almost as that third tall forward.
Well, he started there against St Kilda last week, spent a lot of time in the first term on the forward line, and you got the feeling almost that it was because it was St Kilda to try and sort of get him over the line this week, but that was terrific.
Good set up, Heppel to Dempsey and then to Watson. So this is the biggest lead in the match so far. It's a 19-point margin, getting close-ish to half-time. So Hudson wins the tap. That's a good one. Thomas skirts away. And then on the left foot, Elliott front spot. Well done at the back by Bagley. Almost as good as a kick. And then Watson, that is as good as a kick to Carlisle. And then Carlisle off the step. That's impressive by Essendon.
I'll tell you what was impressive there, Bruce. The actual midfielders who were in the centre clearance were the first ones into Collingwood's forward 50. It was Watson and Goddard spread for the release ball. Their spread's been fantastic.
So Swan. He's had more than anybody else on the ground, Swan, but they're going to need a 40, you think, from him today again. He's on pace. Tuvey, Shaw, Pendlebury. So the two captains have kicked goals in this quarter. Back to Russell from Clark. And Russell spreading. They haven't gained much here, Collingwood. They still haven't really created anything. They've just created a bit of time. Now running very, very hard. Side bottom. Now they need to hang on here. It was a good tackle by Zaharakis. Brown back to side bottom. But again, they're on the back foot here. But Swan working so hard in the middle.
And side bottom ran so hard in a contest and still had the poise with the left boot. That was fantastic. Ball goes towards the outer side now, and Shaw, as they switch it backwards and forwards, and that's a nice kick under the chest of Thomas. Man on the mark, 55 metres out. 6-4-2-9. Thomas jabs it in close. The mark is taken by Dwyer, who missed from about this range on the other side.
Funny how players react quickly. Deep in the forward line, you had Carlisle and Cloak one-on-one, but I reckon the Collingwood players have already said, I don't know about kicking them one-on-one in the air against Cloak and Carlisle today. He won the game for him the last week, Cloak.
Lays it off. Kick from Seedsman. Long, but wayward. In from the side. Up very high was Elliott. Crashing the pack was Blair. Carlisle to Bell Chambers under pressure. And a man who doesn't kick too many goals. Jordan Russell is marked about 25 metres out. 18 career goals. I'm guessing all of them for the Blues.
Talk about impressions, Bruce, and quick mixed impressions so far. This is an extremely important shot on goal for the Collingwood Footy Club.
Right behind him, kick is on the way. He heard you, Tom.
The disease, they got the disease of the yips. We see it many weeks, don't we? Aside, one player misses, second player misses, third player misses, and all of a sudden the disease just spreads through the entire team.
So Lee, they're 1 goal 7 from set shots now.
Yeah, they just keep butchering it in that part of the game.
So Reid doing well, and he's a lefty, we know. It gets back inside. The handball cut off by Watson. Zaharakis to Watson. And then Watson, oh, it was dangerous. Hibbert has to get down. Thomas picked it up brilliantly. Sinclair's little tap too much for Dwyer. Back to Sinclair. Elliott on the end of it to Blair. Blair off a step. It's a goal. It was hard-earned, but it was big. Well, it was massive, I reckon, in the context of today. They had to work overtime, didn't they, to get a situation where they could create a scoring shot even.
Well, they just had a lot of players where the ball went into that centre corridor out in front of the goal, and even though the pressure was intense, there was probably five Collingwood players onto a couple of Essendon players, which at least just a half step for Blair to balance and have a shot.
It's the uncharacteristic turnover. Looked for a safer option, but just watch the small Collingwood forwards. They just buzz around here. Blair was on the end of it. Great avenue to goal.
So the margin 12 points. Collingwood would like back-to-back goals here, of course. And that would really level things up. Watson, last man up. Bill Chambers. Knocked out of there by Pendlebury. Swan again to Seedsman. Kicks down towards half-forward. It bounces inside the forward 50. He's been important to Dwyer in the last few minutes. Pulls this one back towards full forward. Courageously, Dempsey goes back into the hole and takes the mark. Just over 3.5 minutes to half-time. Short to the pocket. Hibbert takes it. Now Hibbert. Eyes bouncing around. Stays on that side of the ground. Low down to Watson. Still inside the defensive 50. Jabs it over the top. Crammery. In fact, Collier, sorry. Collier. Short one. And he finds Heppel. And Heppel finds himself on the defensive 50.
And then slowly out wide. Good mark by Bell Chambers. You feel like 1 goal here in the next 2 minutes makes such a massive difference to either team. At the moment we're sitting on 2. O'Brien turnover. Swan back to O'Brien. Well done by Hocking. And then a 50-50 ball. Stanton, O'Brien. Harry, well done. Goddard and O'Brien. There were 2 raging balls going at the same footy. That ball's still not out. Hocking trying to get it loose. Sinclair. It's in good hands now. It's Pendlebury to fall forward. Could Cloak take a screamer? Carlisle again. Lynch had to search. Dempsey did well. Hip and shouldered it out of the way. And then had the poise to get to Hibbert. It's good stuff. And then Hibbert to Bagley. Bagley's bounce okay. And then he skirts a bad one. Cut off. Seedsman's a long kick. He's a very long kick. And he goes and misses. Oh, that would have been massive.
Did all the work to create the space and the shot at goal. He could have just, I mean, they've got eyes in the back of his head, but if he'd been able to just go the extra few steps to balance, he might have been able to run that extra 10 metres closer to goal.
Jamie Elliott thinks he's Phil Garmer jumping into that pack. Cloak was never going to be outmarked. Here's Fasolo. Pressure building on the Bombers here to hold before half-time. Fasolo 55 metres out. Sets it to a dangerous area. Quinton Lynch. Up he went, couldn't hang on. Working at the back, Dempsey. Kicks it out of there. Heppel's got the run of it. Fasolo comes to meet him. Heppel played it well. Gave it to Watson. Realised Heppel was out of bounds. Couldn't use him. Comes to Hibbert. Hibbert storms away from half-back. Probing kicked out towards half-forward and Rinderlich. Maybe the Bombers can rally and get a goal here. Back towards the middle. Awkward half volley for Hill. He was dragged down by Shaw in the back, says the umpire.
It's interesting, isn't it? When you tackle from behind, you can see the player behind just trying to hold the player up so he doesn't go forward. Hard to do it.
So Davey on the end of a Winderlick. Russell did well. Pendlebury, they've got to hang on here, Collingwood. They had a moment where they could have got very close. They've done brilliantly. O'Brien to Pendlebury. That mind will be racing by Pendlebury. Holds it up to Lynch. Gee, what a great 5 minutes of footy we've seen here. It's been a great half, but it's got hotter in the last 5. That's a magnificent kick to Sidebottom. He can run on, and Sidebottom does. And what a match we've got now, closing in on half-time. Well, again, Pendlebury's vision through the centre there, he was able to sum it up, wasn't he?
And just the work rate on Still Sidebottom with the build-up. Pendlebury, as you said, Bruce, his mind goes a million miles an hour, but you wouldn't know it because he looks like he's in slow motion, just makes the right decision always. And just the work ethic of Sidebottom, he's run an absolute mile to get on the end of that, then has the awareness to say, look, I'm going to play on here, I'm not going to go back, and then come back inside and make an absolute sure thing of it. That is a huge goal.
So they've got it back from 19 to 5, Collingwood here.
Yep. And look at that there. That tells the tail of the tape, the inside 50s. You've sensed that, Bruce, the last 10 minutes or so, right back on top.
No question. So what's the last minute? Hold in store. It's been a magnificent match so far. Hudson did well. Gets to Sidebottom. Well, don't tell me they'd be in front at half-time. Seedsman, they're still a couple of kicks away here, Collingwood. But they're starting to get very, very dangerous to fall forward. Cloak, not quite. Blair couldn't quite either. Well done, Hibbert, in the end. And then on the up, misses Zaharakis. Sidebottom, can he turn Zaharakis? Goes back, very far back to Clark. Short, protected. Mark taken by Hudson. See the clock. He can bomb one, Hudson, we know that. He launches. He gets a lot of it to fall forward.
And it's a behind. Sidebottom now to 22 disposals.
So 16 scoring shots to 10. But Essendon really have made the running for much of the first half, but they don't have anything to show for it, really. And for the 5th time this year, Collingwood are in a dogfight at half-time. What a half of footy we've just seen. An Anzac Day special it's been.
It's all to do with his lead-up. He just needs to keep coming at the ball, and sometimes people forget that. They try and push back the goal. It's just keep coming at the ball because it opens up space.
A lot of upside for the Pies, I reckon, Jono.
Yeah, there is. They're dominating clearances, so from an Essendon point of view, they want to get more out of, because they're dominating hit-outs, so they want to get a bit more out of that aspect of their game. But the last 8 minutes of that quarter was all Collingwood. Momentum's with them at the moment. Half-time came at the perfect time for the Essendon Footy Club.
All right, you can see the players just about ready to go, waiting for the first bounce of the second half. Ben Hudson ready to rip into action. Well, let's head back to the MCG.
Everything to play for. The Bombers coming in undefeated this afternoon. One down by Bell Chambers. Wide of the pack, Heppel. Watson. Taken high, Hibbert, got boot to ball, his right foot, not his dangerous one. He bounces it down towards half forward. Bell Chambers lays it off to Stanton. Stanton, a wild kick to the pocket, but effective. And the mark is held by Crameri.
Essendon started with the spare player back behind the ball, which meant that Heath Shaw was spare for Collingwood, but Hibbert was the spare player. He got involved, and that's the important part when you are starting as a loose across half-back. Get yourself involved through the middle of the ground.
Crameri comes around with a hook, and that's a common mistake, it seems, when players do that. He hooks it too early. Minor score increases the lead.
And Tom, it was interesting. Shaw was the loose man, but Winderlich went and stood him, which meant that Russell was the loose man.
There's no doubt the Essendon forward line would say never let Shaw be the spare. Let your opponent be the spare. Like Russell, let him be the spare if there's a choice of the two.
So Shaw, the man in question, out very wide. Reid, such a good defender, Reid. All Australian, a couple of years back.
It's interesting that one. Every club actually in part of their planning process talks about which defender are they prepared to leave free if they have to, and which ones you just don't at any eventuality.
See the subs there, and just wonder when they might be activated and what impact they could have. So Myers and Goldsack. Pretty versatile Goldsack, you feel. He could play in most spots.
Move it on.
And Myers could certainly play off halfback or in the mid. So Thomas, careful.
Thanks, Brent.
To Swan.
I think they'll go with Goldsack earlier than the sub often goes, because I think they need someone else in the forward line who can draw the ball, and he can do that as that medium marking player.
So Cloak the target. G. Carlisle almost took the mark, and then Hudson doing the roving that time, and Hibbert, who has been the loose man for much of the day. As Dennis said, that left foot has been dangerous today. Takes the mark. That one getting over the back. Stanton just drawing Swan under the ball. Tuvey running it towards the line. Gee, did well there, Tuvey.
He certainly did to Thomas. Thomas delayed it, and the kick still goes to an Essendon player. Running hard was Dempsey. Was it left half back? Jams it forward. Stanton. James Hurd's old number. Kicked his first goal against Collingwood, and in fact in his career on an Anzac Day, wearing number 34 down in front of the pack. Cramry going nowhere. Pack closed on him. Over the football is Shaw, gets to his feet, rampaging towards the boundary. How's that? Defiant Heath Shaw, and the umpire is going to ball it up. About a step in from the boundary.
Hey boys, you talked about side bottom and how good his first half was. Well, he has worked extremely hard. An example of that, the people at home probably don't want to hear, but he lost all of his lunch when they came back out after half-time, all over the ground. He's worked really hard. Timmy's looking at me right now going, you idiot, Richo, but he worked hard still side bottom. That's an example of it.
Leave it all out there. The old adage.
To Bill Chambers. Goddard. To Stanton. Oh, well done, Hudson. Well, I think it started around his hips and probably just got a bit lower, didn't it?
Technically there.
And Stanton off a step, finds Goddard. Had a very good first half, Goddard. And now he winds himself up and misses. So it's a behind. What a match he played in that first grand final in 2010. He and Hayes willing the Saints back into that match. So Russell.
Goes very deep to the pocket. That's out of bounds on the full. Out of bounds on the full.
It's a bad error, isn't it? He was only going to gain 20 metres and almost go further backwards from the top of the goal square.
Cramry, a centering kick. Zaharakis takes the mark 25 metres out. McCaffer picks up the mark with a rueful look back over his left shoulder at the man that kicked it in.
Well, to make matters worse, Dan, Russell's made the critical mistake here and really dwelled on that mistake because he was the closest player to Zaharakis.
Zaharakis then 30 metres out. 3 goals alongside his name now. And the Bombers stretch the lead. They're back out to 12.
Yes, he knows he's made the mistake, Russell. Actually, they played man-to-man, Essendon, so there was no zone going on. And I guess when that happens, you just got to kick the ball to the furthest contest, 60 metres away. Trying to go to the back pocket wouldn't have got you far anyway. But once you put it out on the full, everything is messed up and cost the goal.
Very visible mistake by the former Blue, making one right there. Brown had no chance.
Zaharakis a goal in each of the quarters. First time 3 against Collingwood. 4 games this year without a goal coming in. He started as a sub in Adelaide. Had a problem pre-season with an injury, but what a match he's playing again today. Blair trying to get past Watson. Dwyer got very good late in that first half. Dwyer, Watson, brilliant, and Bell Chambers, but cut off by Pendlebury. Hibbert, it's been very good, Hibbert, and gets a lot on that to full forward. Cramry.
He looks the most dangerous down there, doesn't he? Because he's the more agile. He's a terrific third tall forward because he is so mobile, but is so good in the air. You see, we probably see at the top of the screen, and he just read it better off the boot.
Well, he's been a leading goal kicker at the club, and that one he struck beautifully, and Essendon pinched the big break again here. Away they go. So Cramry has had a very good Anzac Day prior to this. Kicked 6 goals against the Demons in round 2. Got hurt, didn't he, in Perth, but he kicked 3. And he's got a goal here, so this is a great start for the Bombers.
Lee touched on Stuart Cremery being the man most likely, but just look at the space there. Essendon knew exactly what was happening. The small forwards pushed up Davey and the like and just created that vacuum behind. Just had to get it into his area.
Michael Hibbert up to 16 possessions now, a lot of them dangerous. Zaharakis, Stanton knocked it across to him, kicks inside the forward 50, side bottom, went back with courage. Stolen away by Davey, bounces one down towards full forward. Coming up with pace is Winderlich. In his hip pocket is Russell. Opportunity on the outer side for sure, taken down. Davey, wonderful courage, wonderful skill too. Got the ball to Heppel. Heppel long to the square. Hill works in front, and it bounces against the post. I'm guessing it was touched. I'm not sure. Goal umpire indicating it did hit the post. We saw that. We'll never know. Russell. Whoops. Away we go.
So the safety way, and then does what Lee suggested, kick as far as you can. If there's going to be a one-on-one, at least you get it out of a danger zone for the moment. Leach held up. Essendon keep getting the first goals in quarters, don't they? Stanton to full forward. Russell didn't take the mark. Shaw did well. Seedsman has to just wait for a moment. And then Seedsman hugs the line. It was touched. And a boundary throw in. So they've got the first 2 goals in that opening term, got the early goal in the second. They've punched a couple through here, Essendon. So Collingwood playing a lot of catch-up footy today. And all that momentum they had at half-time's eroded, evaporated.
Seems in that cycle, I mean, obviously when teams used to play man-to-man for the kick, and then the bunching come to run into space, but the zoning has been in so normally over the last decade or 2 that there wasn't any thought of how to actually work the defence.
Zaharakis so busy this afternoon. Centre in, kick Winderlich. A full stretch.
I think Jordan Russell's feeling pretty good about himself at the moment. I think his confidence all of a sudden been dropped rock bottom. That third up, got the ball clear.
Yeah, that's just a genuine one out there, and Winderlich not necessarily a strong man and known for his overhead work, but Jordan Russell will be disappointed with that effort.
So the margin 19. What a huge kick this is. It's going to be a long way back for Collingwood. Winderlich puts it through. Bombers up by 25.
When you have a bad patch like Russell's had the last 5 minutes, so that ability, every sportsman has that every now and again, the ability to move on from this point and not look back. And I mean, it's easier said than done, but that's the challenge.
And does Goldsack now come into the mind of Nathan Buckley with Russell struggling?
I'm sure the game's slipping away. I'm sure he's thinking, do I use my sub earlier because he's a different type of player?
Because he could play across half-back goals, couldn't he?
Potentially match leading position now, the Essendon Bombers. Jordan Russell, he's definitely shell-shocked. Would you look at bringing Goldsack on? He's warming up down here now, Lee. Would you bring him on for Russell at this stage?
I think any time now. I think you've got to take the punt a little bit as the game is starting to get away.
Dwyer to Clark, to side bottom, back to Clark, Richard, McCaffrey, brilliant tackle, Howlett, and then Davey got it across to Merritt. Goddard, no, he doesn't quite, or does he? He's having a big match. He was the third man up a moment ago, wasn't he, from the clearance, Goddard?
Yeah, huge clearance work by Goddard to Zaharakis to set up the last goal. He's been good. He's showed great composure and a really cool head when he's had the ball in hand.
So the big margin of the match, Lynch takes the mark. Hey, Tim, a quick one from you. You mentioned Goddard pre-match. What have you thought so far?
Well, I thought that these big games are just set up for a guy like Brendan Goddard, and I think he's been fantastic. I don't know that I've seen him play with that same intensity since about 2010 that I've seen him display this year for Essendon.
Winderlich's got the football now. Man on the mark is about 40 metres from goal. Goddard up to 19 possessions. Winderlich, who kicked the last goal and kicked Essendon clear. Another huge kick right here, but the margin getting very large and swelling by the kick. Winderlich goes back to back. Well done by the Bombers. Goldsack is preparing to come on. Winderling celebrating. Blistering pace on the lead twice. Goldsack onto the ground then. He can play at either end. Just wonder where they will use him. Probably in defence.
In the forward line, I think, to replace one of their smalls.
Sinclair's off. Well, there's Tyson Goldsack. They've made the move. The sub is on, but the man off is Sinclair. One of the small forwards have had no impact today. Sinclair, Elliott and Fasolo, all under 5 possessions, but gee, Russell, they'll have to look at that as well.
They've kicked 4 goals in 6.5 minutes, the Bombers. This has happened so quickly, and they might make it another one. Streaming out Stanton, not such a good kick. Russell, good pick up, well done. He held on very well there. Tuvey bouncing the ball along. Hocking, Clark dispossess him. Clark versus Hocking. Ball has to come out, does now. Almost out the back. Tuvey was involved, and a free kick surely to Thomas in the back. So Collingwood need...
They need to start winning some clearances for a start, because they're just getting stitched around the middle.
Thomas from Pendlebury, and then Thomas, and then Elliott. Well played by Elliott, created something out of nothing. Dwyer.
Searching kick inside the forward 50. Goldsack is being held immediately into the action. Goldsack 25 metres out.
Yeah, they've got to start winning the ball out of the middle, clearly, but in their forward third, they needed another target, and they've rolled the dice with Goldsack, and pretty logical thinking, I would say.
Smart by Goldsack there, just pulled the chair out. Hooker was coming back to make contact with the body. He slipped to one side and then was done. And Goldsack kicks the goal. Margin back to 26.
I reckon we knew Lee'd make a good coach, because he suggested Goldsack, but Richo as well did. So on he comes and gets the goal. He kicked the first goal in the 2010 replay grand final goal. So when he didn't play the week before, he was the one inclusion that came in, got the opening goal.
Well, you never want to lose a sub before three-quarter time, because you never know when you're going to get an injury. But once you get 4 or 5 goals down, the percentages say give it a go.
But Lee, that makes Bucks feel so happy about the sub coming on, doesn't it? So Goldsack now looks like he's going into the back. Well, he's come up onto the wing. So he gets that immediate goal. Remember, he did kick the opening goal in the replay grand final when he was the inclusion from Collingwood from the week before. So Pendlebury gets it from Hudson. That's a clever handball from Thomas. Back to Pendlebury. Back to centre-half forward. Can Cloak get involved? Hooker. Hardingham hasn't had a lot of the ball, but he's there for a reason. He's quick over the ground. Dempsey's been very good, hooking the ball back to about 55 metres. Watson, Zaharakis and Heppel, 3 of their stars. That one cut off, well done by Hudson. Blair gets it to Swan, to Pendlebury on the right foot. Oh, what a champion he is. He's a true blue champion. I mean, that really took some doing.
They needed someone to do that. They're wanting to play the extra guy off the back of the centre square, Collingwood, which was Dale Thomas that particular time, and he's the one who got into the centre square to give the extra man in there, but Pendlebury was the one who actually ended up getting the ball forward out of that congestion, and then he's got involved in the play again, and beautiful finish, wasn't it? Really.
No better player to watch when he's in space. You look at Scotty Pendlebury, it goes to his right foot. He just makes decisions. He looks around. He knows where the space is. A minute or so before, he linked up with Daisy Thomas to create that forward thrust. He's just a marvel.
Margin back to 20 then. Hocking, half chance. Pendlebury over the football. Can't get it out. Hudson trying to wrench it out of there. Elliott missed it. Hocking comes again. Goldsack did brilliantly. Got the ball across to Swan. Kicks it down towards half forward. So Collingwood finding something now. Paddles it out towards the boundary. Takes an Essendon bounce. And Hooker takes it across the boundary line. So a throw in midway through the 3rd term for the MCG. Essendon holding the upper hand. Hill decisively. Swan, did he have the football? Collier in trouble. Elliott riding leg into the ground and will have a ball up about 25 metres out. The umpire had not seen that before, so didn't know what to play.
Well, that's obviously the way he plays his footy, whether he's going for a mark or a tackle. Den just gets on the back and goes for a ride.
Well, Billy Elliott rode far up in the Acura Caliente when he went over and took on the world. So another Elliott having a ride here today. Here's Davey, held up, couldn't quite. Watson, Collingwood suddenly getting numbers. Blair, Heppel, Goldsack getting involved. McCaffer, Blair, still Blair, down low. Thomas's handball. Merritt just got a little touch in to Collier, and then Collier kicks the ball neatly to space. One-on-one. Cremery was a little slow that time, and Shaw. And a boundary throw in. So they're being challenged hard now, the Bombers. They got to 32. It's still a comfortable lead in a low-scoring match, but it doesn't feel comfortable on a day like today.
Bill Chambers knocked it down. Zaharakis heard the call though from the umpire. Side bottom did nicely. McCaffer. Lynch has been good. That's a telling thumping kick inside the forward 50. Everybody fell at the water jump. Pendlebury up first, gets a hand pass away. Cloak, can he kick his first? Turns around and hurried it. He kicks it behind.
It's the kind of hurry kick when you have an admin, isn't it?
That's
You're kind of just really keen to get a stat and just off balance.
Oh, Heppel just got to him. He was irrepressible last week, Cloak. He was misty-eyed, shades of Bob Johnson. I was back in the 60s as the ball comes out towards the wing. That big caboose. Hard to circumnavigate, but not so today. Going at half forward, Elliott's got it.
Gee, a couple of goals from Elliott in the second half would be handy. He's starting to look lively. Cloak got it.
Just had breathing space there. Wasn't touch and feel on Cloak from Carlisle on that occasion.
He was covering the leading space towards the kicker, Carlisle, but when the ball was kicked back into the centre corridor, he just couldn't go with him.
Uncontested mark.
Can't cover both sides.
No. Well, you guys and Richo talked about the fact that these opportunities would come for Cloak in the second half. So 32 points was the margin under 5 minutes ago, and now Collingwood close. They get it back to 13. And that's huge. Just to Cloak to get on the board for him.
Certainly for him to get his confidence up. They've just got the 2 or 3, the last centre bounce clearances. I think for the first 8 entries in the third quarter was 4-4 to Essendon. The ball was only in one half. So all of a sudden, they started to win a couple of clearances, Collingwood now then put the Essendon defence under pressure and were able to get their couple.
I tell you, Goldsack's coming onto the ground. They have played very well since he's been on there.
Just got that space, as we mentioned. I wouldn't say it was the most confident approach to a contested mark, but he'll gain a hell of a lot from it from kicking the goal.
Rucks go at it again. Bill Chambers got it down. Swan being held. First 9 inside 50s in this term to the Bombers, last 7 to Collingwood, about to be 8. As the ball goes out wide to Seedsman. Seedsman with the man on the mark on the logo out of side. Seedsman. Probing kick. Cloak is the genie out of the bottle. He's marked, plays on immediately. 60 metres out. Now, had he kicked that, this place would have gone mad.
He didn't kick it, of course, but Carlisle actually was motioning to his other defenders that they didn't get over to help. And when he just took his eyes off Cloak, it enabled Cloak to play on. So it was a slight mistake that didn't get paid against.
Hibbert outside the defensive 50. Bill Chambers launched himself. Not the ideal situation. Bill Chambers, the flyer. Hill the crummer. Comes across to Clark. Hooks it back towards the middle. Heppel did well, and again, wonderful courage. Side bottom, trapped. Goddard took him down. Heppel, quick thinking. Although Pendlebury's got the football. McCaffer missed the half volley and opens the gate. Opportunity for Zaharakis. Socket away there. Kicking in danger against Clark. Essendon's free.
Gee, big mistake by McCaffer, as Dennis said. He had to at least cover the footing. Maybe got a bad bounce. Winderlick's been such an important player in this quarter. Hocking, some time. Put Goddard in a little bit of trouble, and then Goddard put Hocking in trouble, and this ball coming out. Russell had a difficult quarter. Brilliant handball by Sidebottom. Speak of brilliance, Pendlebury with it. He's wanting his man Swan to go. Oh, a wonderful mark by Hibbert. Swanee was over the back and sensing a goal. Bagley to Watson. Gee, this is a good game of football, isn't it?
Hey guys, Meyer
Myers is on. Merritt has been subbed out of the game. He's just got a touch here in front of us.
So both the subs, we know that Goldsack's had a positive effect on Collingwood so far. So Myers down the line. Bill Chambers at the back. Hudson front spot. Lynch. Hudson. Does Brown get the bounce? Russell trying to fight back. Gets it to Clark. Clever hands. Cut off almost. Fasolo twists and dummies and gets back to Tuvey. It's slow and hard going.
He kicks down towards half forward with courage. Hooker went back. Tied up as Elliott. Taken down. The umpire will ball it up. Big play by Hibbert moments ago. And Merritt. There'll be other Anzac days. Lynch decisively. Thomas, interesting. Opportunity for Swan into space. Cloak and Carlisle in his wake for Solo. Very high floater. Dempsey under it. Thomas over the top. Eyes only for the footy. Unkind bounce for Dwyer. Trickles across to Hooker. Dwyer battles on though. Outnumbered, ties it up. Well played. They'll have a ball up in the pocket. Collingwood surging now. They're down by just 12 points. This has been a remarkable turnaround. Dempsey knocks it down to Stanton.
Can't get it clear. Then Lynch from the pocket. And a boundary throw in.
Geez, every contest is huge at the moment. It's really becoming a battle of attrition. It's a lot of stop plays, a lot of hard physical effort required. Just look at that. That tells the tale of the tape there, the dominance of Collingwood.
Bell Chambers and Lynch, both sucking it in. Lynch works to the front. Bill Chambers is high to factor. Elliott down low. Seedsman, rather it's a Dwyer, held up. Lynch gets down, tries to carry three Essendon players with him. Watson, brilliantly done by Watson. Zaharakis, who's kicked a goal in each of the quarters. That ball's still not out. Shaw, and now it is. So each quarter's had a bit of a pattern. Essendon make the running, Collingwood coming back.
They've been coming better in the second half of the quarters.
Margin 12. Bombers still lead. They led by 4 at half-time. Stanton, he's been handy. Decides to run it up the ground. Winderlich, early goals in this term. Lays it off to Hooker. Beat his man up on his toes. Nicely done to Myers. Myers scrambles a kick. It was touched en route. Opportunity for Reid. Lays it off to Heath Shaw. Loves this situation. Heath Shaw running across the ground. Setting it up. It's 2-on-1. And the two are pretty classy. It comes back to side bottom. Goes to Goldsack. Poor old Courtney Dempsey working overtime. The short one to Lynch. He's about 60 metres from home. Swan is calling for it long. And Lynch could put it there. But he decides to go short. Not sure that was the option. Cloak attracts a crowd. Carlisle hurt in that exchange. The last to get up. He took a whack, but he hasn't got up yet.
Still suffering a bit as Cloak goes back to the goal square on his own. So Collingwood might have a loose man here. Zaharakis holds it up.
Injured player at the boundary line this time.
So Carlisle's still injured here.
Might be just winded, I suspect, the way he's trying to get his wind. No, he might be sore.
O'Brien. Good tackle. Howlett. Geez, strong Howlett. I mean, he doesn't look it, but he's powerful. He's a hard man to bring down. Reid got rid of Bell Chambers a bit too easily. Such a dependable defender as Carlisle. Still in a bit of strife. So that's massive at the moment. Brown loads it up. Now, where is Cloak and Carlisle? Do they get involved? Oh, how good is that?
Dropped it on his head.
That's the way to endear yourself to your fans, isn't it?
That becomes part of your folklore, doesn't it?
Well played by Hooker too. Didn't give him the run. Close to the boundary line. Clark being good in this turn. Not this time though. Out of bounds on the full strong tackle.
What I think might happen now is I think Hooker will probably go and play on Cloak, and if Carlisle's fit enough to just stay on the field, just get in the way. But he looks like he's coming off for some attention.
Dempsey to Hocking with space up ahead. Under pressure, gets the kick off, but the tackle affected the kick. Was it a push? It's going to be an Essendon free. Essendon free kick, and it's going to Bell Chambers. No, it's going to Gumbleton. So Scotty Gumbleton.
Scott!
A chance here to be a hero in this third term. To steady the ship.
Mark's right here.
Playing only his 30th game since 2007. Second man taken in the 2006 draft behind Bryce Gibbs. And in that time, Bryce has played 138 games. Scotty Gumbleton. You don't barrack for teams as a commentator, but you barrack for people. Oh, well done, Scotty. The boy from Mandurah puts it through.
Well, a quarter of an hour since the Bombers score. He's only played one other Anzac Day match, and he kicked a couple that day. So this has now become a good contribution from him in a tight, lowish scoring game. He's kicked a couple. He's now a target forward, isn't he?
Yeah, against the trend. Collingwood just had a surge of inside 50 after inside 50, then Essendon with that one opportunity. We're going to have to keep an eye on Carlisle. He's the one who's gone down the race.
This was a big free kick, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Well, the umpire had a better view than the camera probably on that instance, and he was on the other side of the contest. So fairly small, that infringement.
G. Hill did well, brilliantly, and then great hands from Watson to Stanton, loads it up. Well, there's another one.
Two actions. It's two actions. Push.
It's a big free kick, isn't it? I think the way the umpires interpret those marking contests, that seems to be what they're playing on. And sometimes you think the stronger bloke's getting penalised, but
you've got to push them in the back, though.
Yeah.
So Bill Chambers. Well, controversial minute of football here. And look, I'm not an umpire. It doesn't look like that's a free kick to me. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know anymore, but is that a free kick or not?
I would have thought that the way the wheels are being interpreted, that would be a free kick most of the time. In other words, he pushed and then he went back and took the mark. And that's what they call about the two actions. If the first action is to put your opponent out of the contest and your second action is to mark it, you will generally be free kicked. I
saw Taylor Walker take a mark last week. We just pushed the bloke and took the mark. I mean, I don't know what the difference is.
Let's have another look at this. That, to me, is a push in the chest, front on. That is two big guys. That's just a great mark by Ben Reid. Let's not get too technical with these marking contests. It's good for the game when you've got two big guys going at it in marking contest. I don't like that.
Didn't have the footy. Watson kicks it down towards half forward with pace. Cranmery inside the forward 50. Brown work his way in front. Well done. Off the ground by Heath Shaw. Still Heath Shaw going. Got a little bit of a chip in there from O'Brien, and as a result got clear. Now round the outer side, it's side bottom. He's run his heart out this afternoon. 3 bounces. Make that 4. Side bottom, make that 5. He's running down towards the 50. Can he summon the distance now? Oh, he goes short. Wonderful. It's one thing to run, it's another thing to finish.
Yeah, I think it's nothing much has changed. His footy was always said if you decide to run and bounce it, you've taken the responsibility to make sure your team ends up with the footy, and that's exactly what side bottom did. Carried the ball, but made sure Collingwood still had it at the end of his disposal.
So amazingly, really good forward craft work there by Travis Cloak, pushing back towards goal, give himself some space, get on the end of it.
Big Travis, and he comes from 40. And he's hooked it hopelessly. Out of bounds on the full. Heartbreaker. And side bottom will have to run again. 1:22 till three-quarter time.
Gee, they needed it, didn't they?
He's back to his erratic goal kicking. Like today, when it hasn't been a good day, his confidence is down. All of a sudden, his goal kicking conversion, he's kicked 1 goal 3. Is that 1 out of bounds, I think, as well. So 5 shots for 1 goal.
And if he's kicked 3, Lee, he's had a pretty good day, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, prior to today, he was going at 64%, which is a career high for him.
The confidence down affects all areas of your game, doesn't it?
It's been 10 years since the Bombers have kicked 6 goals in a quarter on Anzac Day, and they've managed it so far in this third. Hudson, Goddard's been very good. Howlett, he's going to do a side bottom. 2 men on the left. And that's down the field, is it? Oh, coming back. Coming back.
He's played a push in the back, hasn't he?
So Russell chasing. Howlett squaring to Myers. So Collingwood have just got to hold up here. They cannot afford another goal. They've done a lot of good work, but Essendon have got a big bleed. Kicks to full forward. Reid up. Goddard high. No. O'Brien's got him. Ball up.
You said it, Bruce. They've got to hold here. 43 seconds remaining in the term. Ball thrown up quickly. Watson at close quarters to Cranmery. He's tackled immediately by Turvey, who stole the football, if you don't mind. and he's taken the ground. Clock will stop at 32, but the umpire comes in briskly and will throw it up immediately. There you see Watson still down on one knee. Game has changed. Hocking ran into a dead end with the outside of the boot, Goddard, and he bounces it out of bounds in the pocket. Jake Carlisle on the boundary. Set for a big finish. Collingwood have not given it away today. Hudson in front, controls it to his own advantage. Russell clamped immediately, and again the umpire working overtime, and the clock is down to 14. Only one side can get a goal now in this third quarter. Bill Chambers stolen by Hudson. Clark, Swan down to 7 seconds. Side bottom, 28 possessions now. Bounces it out of bounds on the outer side. Clock stops at 2. Plays 56. Margin 4 points at halftime, 4 points at quarter time. And now at three-quarter time, it's 24. I'd say the noise you hear is from Collingwood supporters. 2 controversial kicks from free kicks midway through the term, resulting in goals. But Essendon have played some irresistible football. They lead 12-8 to 7-14 on Anzac Day. Cloak. Start of the final term. Collingwood with a job ahead of them. Bill Chambers decisively. Too slick for Watson. As you'd expect, he found it on the deck, though, and the umpire will do it again. 80 plays 56. 6 goals in that third term for the Bombers. Bill Chambers directs it wide, taken by Myers. Kicks into side bottom. Heppel took a swing at it. Missed by Pendlebury. Hocking slung, taken by Blair. Seedsman gets clear. Searching kick inside the forward 50, and Elliott, well, hasn't looked certain today and almost spilt that one. If he can kick a goal, it could reinvigorate him.
It was made easier because there's no loose men at the start of this last quarter. Both teams 1-on-1 inside their forward 50s.
He's quite happy to get on the end of the kick, Elliott, isn't he? He doesn't worry about getting for the crumbing position unless he has to.
Start against Carlton back in round 2 with 5 goals. Jamie Elliott directly in front. Kick is on the way. The hopes of the Collingwood faithful riding on that kick. And they're buoyed. He puts it through.
He's so courageous, Elliott. I mean, that was a difficult ball because anything could have been coming from the back. And he's just said he's quite happy to take the mark.
Yeah, no, he's one of those, again, he's a small player who actually gets on the end of the kick. And every now and again he might jump when he should stay ground level. But I think one of his great strengths is that his defender never knows what he's going to do. You've got to actually cover him when the ball's in the air.
Different player, but Medhurst kicked 6 goals in a match like this. And he could play as a tall, small forward, couldn't he? Well, for the first time in the match, Collingwood get the opening goal to a quarter, and it was big, wasn't it? Elliott on the board. You feel like he and Cloak are the two. They've been their leading goal kickers so far this year. Coming in, Cloak 16 and Elliott 9. Pendlebury wins the clearance. Goes out wide. Goldsack on a burst. Had an immediate impact when he came onto the ground. Hibbert's tackle was very, very good. Goldsack got it out. Goddard. Handball okay. Hocking. And then Hocking on the left. Gets a fair bit on it. Shaw took off quickly and read it beautifully on Winderlick. That's a great battle, those two.
Come back over. You went way over your mark. You've got to come back over here.
Saved there by the umpire.
Gee, he was lucky he didn't get the 50 metres against him, Winderlick. He just clung on, I thought, a little bit, but the umpire gave him a bit of leniency.
So some experienced heads in this Collingwood team, and this is one of them.
Kicks towards the 50. Stretching. Goldsack is marked 55 metres out. Bit more spring. Fresher man. Hibbert stands the mark. Hibbert's done a lot of running this afternoon for 17 possessions. He was a catalyst at times, running hard from half-back and kicking long, but now it's Goldsack to kick over his head from 60 out. Goldsack gets onto this one. Has it got the carry? It has! Wonderful kick. There was the kick of a sub. It was fresh.
Amazing, is that their conversion from opportunities has been horrible, Collingwood. That's really been the difference in the why Essendon were 4 goals in front at three-quarter time, but then you go and get someone lobs the set kick from 60 metres.
Well, we thought he'd be a good sub before the game because he's that sort of fella. He can play anywhere, can't he?
Yeah, and particularly when he can get on the end of another forward target.
Well, he's a super sub today, isn't he? He really is, with a couple of goals, really important here. Richo?
Yeah, Carlisle is still trying down on the bench here. He's running. Merritt's in a little bit of strife too. He's got strapping around his left calf. Hooker has had trouble with Cloak in the past, so it's just thrown the matchups all over the place down there.
Deja vu. Pendlebury out of the centre, out to Goldsack and Hibberd. Didn't we see that a moment ago? And didn't we see a good tackle from Hibberd? Dennis, am I seeing things?
No. Stanton back to Heppel. Sweeping hand pass forward Zaharakis. Zaharakis kicks down towards half forward. 12 points the margin. Brown being hung on to will get a free. Handful of jumper right there.
So the game's gone with centre bounce clearances, and the Collingwood have got the first 3 of this quarter, and they've got the couple of goals to be back in it.
Pendlebury to Swan. Pendlebury in amongst it right now. He's up to 25. He's churning. There goes the kick from Swan down towards the 50. Well played by Hooker.
It's a good little psychological win there for Cale Hooker. Just what Richo was saying. He'd be knowing that he's had his hands full with Cloak from previous outings.
Out of the back pocket then towards the wing, stretching Gumbleton. Kick 2 goals to Stanton. Looks inside, nothing on. Drives it down towards right half forward. Davey. 2v2 tall, thumped it away. Taken by Reid. There's a man on with a chip. He finds him now. That's Swan. Well, he didn't find him. Swan couldn't reel it in. And the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be thrown in.
The players are so pumped up he couldn't keep the kick short enough there, Reid, could he? It was a great one-on-one by Tuvey a moment earlier. Pendlebury becoming so important in this final term with clearances. Hudson hooked it back. Well played, Howland. Watson's been fantastic. Myers with fresh legs on the right side for him. Neat looking kick to full forward. Reid, who's done so much mopping up. Well played by Shaw. Got rid of Gumbleton. O'Brien ran the gauntlet. Gee, Winderlick was quick and good. Zaharakis has kicked a goal in every quarter. To Davey. Little chip, not sure. Winderlick against the flow. Not a great handball. Collingwood can mop up. Goldsack. Pendlebury got it from Clark. This is where Pendlebury is so good. He's so good everywhere, by the way. 3 bounces. He's summing it up and sizing it up. He wants side bottom. Heppel was good at the back. They hit the bump and a crash. And how good was Dempsey there? And Watson takes a beauty. Great football.
Gutsy mark by Job there with a flight of it. Opened himself up, took the mark. There's Myers. Hibberd, defensive side of the wing. 80 plays 68.
It's the balance the balance from Courtney Dempsey to take the hit and have the composure to hit his target, and Watson on the way out.
Just terrific. Hibberd towards half forward early in this final term. Down in front, a chance for Heppel. Bounced across towards Myers. He wasn't expecting it. Under pressure, the high ball inside the forward 50. Here comes Harry. Launches himself. Mirrored a half chance. Shrugs off a would-be tackler. Fumble came from Winderlick. Winderlick comes on the left boot. He's a goal sneak. He can do it. He's got 3. Oh, what a telling goal. Body blow.
Gee, what a contribution after half-time by Winderlick. He kicked 8 goals, I think, in the reserves a couple of weeks back. He's always, Tim, you've talked about him a lot over the years, Winderlick. I'll get you to talk about it in a minute, but they like him in the team, don't they? I mean, he's had a lot of problems with legs.
He's been one of their players that they really missed in the latter half of last year, Bruce, and he's a very smart player. He's very clean with the ball as well.
He's been great. Winderlick gets his 3rd goal, left foot around the body and down the other end. Carlisle is back on the ground, obviously straight to Cloak.
So Winderlick with 3 goals after half-time, and that's the margin. Heppel, these centre clearances that Lee talked about, so vital. Brown did okay. Zaharakis has been. Here's Winderlick again. Stanton, not a bad finisher. Oh, well, talk about a fickle bounce. He's a good player, Stanton, isn't he? He's matured over the years. He's got hard tags and he couldn't handle them for a while, but he's got better. So pressure's been on Russell a few times today. To himself. Well, he's having a nervy one. Thomas, a second, a third. Lynch provides a Shepherd. Daisy uncertain, still uncertain. Goes to Lynch, they're in strife, he threw it away. Seedsman tackle, Essendon are going in for the kill right now. Goddard got involved, Stanton on the up. Zaharakis, Tuvi, ball to be won. O'Brien, Stanton little give. Zaharakis, a big win for Essendon. And then Russell couldn't quite. And all of that after Russell slipped a moment ago.
Huge win for the Bombers there when Daisy Thomas is running down, having 3 bounces and is forced to stop and prop. You know the structures up the field are in place.
19 points the margin, knocked down by Lynch. Close to the boundary line. Dwyer in trouble. Claimed by Goddard. Ball goes out of bounds again. Back with the boundary umpire. 87-68. Every challenge by Collingwood met by Essendon. Over the top. It's going to be a free kick, I think, against Hudson. Hudson was the offending player, I think.
Settle down.
Lynch having a word to him.
Go back and take your kick, Tom.
Tom's always got a smile. I don't know him, but he must be a good bloke.
They had the two ruckmen in that contest. Yeah, so it wasn't against Hudson, surely. It was against Lynch.
I think it might have been against Lynch, yes.
That was because they didn't separate or something, but...
30 seconds.
Bell Chambers then. The man on the mark standing at about 40. Kick is on the way. And he misses. Never had it on line. Harder to smile now. And Lynch having a bit to say.
So Russell again, this time to himself. Shaw the target, brilliant mark. Sweeps the handball. Collingwood are going to break the lines, we know that. Clark, and again uncertain where to go. Brown's give was good to Blair. Side bottom for run and carry perhaps. Or the kick out wide to Cloak. Asked a bit, but Cloak got rid of Carlisle. And then grubbers the ball back, wanting the right bounce. Hardingham well played. Bagley, Merritt, Hocking, Hooker, Hairpool, Hibbert, a lot of H's in that, and then Hibbert off a step to centre wing. Brown at the back did pretty well, and then Russell tapped it back vigorously. Reed the left footer, back he goes to Lynch. He's had a good day, Lynch, and then squeezes to Hudson.
Hudson, runners outside. He's looked to Shaw at the interchange gates. He kicks down towards half forward. All Essendon though. Heppel goes back and takes the uncontested mark. He runs so hard, Heppel, and usually uses the ball well. Spots Gumbleton on the move. Marks on the wing. 20 points the difference. Essendon controlling the game. Down towards half forward, reaching over the top. Tuvey. Opportunity for O'Brien. Gathered by Brown. Slips it away, taken by Reed. Back to O'Brien. He's at right half back. Collingwood needing a score. Kick beyond the wing from O'Brien. Down towards centre half forward. Getting up was Goldsack. Intent on destruction. Got her on the ground. Howlett came hard. Tackled by Dwyer. And down he goes. We'll have a ball up.
3-4 times in this term, Collingwood have got to a point where they just can't go forward because there's nowhere to go to. They've had to stop and prop, and Essendon are controlling it for the moment. Thomas, little toe poke for Solo, should mark, and he does. They need to break the line now. How can they conjure something from here? Blair's short, and then they cut it inside.
And what Essendon are trying to do, instead of having a loose man who's a runner, it's actually been Kale Hooker more than anything else. So the Collingwood players look up and see a 6'4", 6'5" roadblock in front of them.
So Blair got it short.
Lynch has let away from him at the moment, so that even makes it worse.
Yep.
So Brown, so Collingwood have got to hold their nerve here, Collingwood. They're 3 goals behind on the scoreboard, and they're taking a long time to get the ball forward. Every mistake critical here. Reed just trying to find a way through, and then goes for the long one. Big fly. Swan was involved at the foot of the ball. It's Hooker first there, and then still with Hooker. He's handball to Bagley. Bagley, Zaharakis, clever kick.
Heppel, sweeping hand pass, Stanton. Well, no, he was on for it, I thought, but Watson was the man who got in the road there, then slipped over. Didn't work out too well. Lynch close to the boundary, feeds Shaw. Heppel again. He's lifted in the last few moments. He kicks it beyond the wing, bounces on its point. Taken by Crameri, held a long time in the tackle. If a free kick was going to be paid, doesn't matter because advantage was there for Wenderlich. Goes to Crameri, inside is Gumbleton, bounces across to him. Gumbleton tries to sling it back towards the middle. Wenderlich, no way through. through, taken down, picked up by Reid. Gives it to Pendlebury under pressure. Kick goes straight up in the air. Coming through down there was Russell. Russell tried to knock it away from goal. In goes Pendlebury, but it's held to him and we'll have a ball up.
Great stuff. It's last man standing at the moment, Blair, just hooking and hoping to set a wing. Carlisle, Lynch for solo, the big fly. Hooker belted, only as far as Cloak. Cloak got a bit on it now. Bagley, this bounce will be interesting. Elliott and Bagley. Bagley did so well, very well. Back to Carlisle, and then Carlisle off a step. Good-looking kick. Terrific kick to Stanton. Holding it up. No need to rush. He's got runners out wide. Little kick into the centre. Myers, and then Myers, a lovely kick to Davey. Davey will take them on and could finish it here. Well, hits the post for the second time in the term. It was Stanton earlier, and now Davey.
Third overall, Bruce. Through the Bombers. I think it's one to Collingwood. They can't finish Collingwood at the moment, but the clock on their side. Goldsack, he's been good since coming on. Looks down towards half forward. Beautiful kick over some distance with accuracy. Lynch turns around, goes long down towards full forward, bounces through for a minor score. So Essendon get the footy back. Hibbert, short, Heppel, finding the footy now. A young star, he's up to 24 possessions. High ball towards the wing. Howlett, the defensive side of left centre wing. On the move is Winderlick. The kick goes in that direction, and even Shaw can't get a spoil. Winderlick with genuine speed has marked alongside the centre circles. Told to play on. Takes Shaw on. Does him too. Runs away. Kicks long. Is it long enough? Yes, it is. Cleared Russell, marked by Gumbleton. He gives it to Merritt. Merritt goes in and kicks the goal. That was well worked and very generous of Gumbleton. Young fella cruising past. Handful of games.
Just looking more and more confident. Obviously had a big week last week against the Saints. Gumbleton looked self-assured, took it at the highest point, gave it a bit of a shake, had some presence about it, handballed it off.
His hands are a long way up when he reaches. Yeah, when it becomes a reaching contest, he's good.
Just really looked at Key, centre half forward with a grab like that, and then did obviously the awareness to flick it off to Merritt there. It's been a good return from Gumbleton. Only the 10 disposals, but a couple of goals provided a real target for them.
So Collingwood need 5 goals from here. They've kicked 5 goals since half-time, but it's a mountain. Dustin Fletcher has played in 16 of these Anzac Day matches, believe it or not. Heppel, that's the all-time record by a stretch of 3. So Heppel back. It's been a little bit of a drought for the Bombers in these matches. They've only won one of the last 7. Some of their great players have had very little success on this day. Watson 1 out of 7, Stanton 2 out of 8. But all that you feel might be changing this afternoon. What a remarkable season this is for Essendon in all sorts of ways, on and off the field. They've gone to Adelaide and beaten the Crows, and they've gone to Perth and beaten the Dockers. Out wide they come. Stanton continuing to run hard. We've got Collingwood on their knees now. Hocking. Winderlick wants it short. Now Zarakis chops in. Runners everywhere. A bit of a missed kick, to be honest, but Davey almost. So quick, Davey. Off the ground, bouncing ball. Hill fell over, no free kick. Put the boots up, actually. Collingwood, slippery ball. Goddard can't quite. Clark can't quite. Howlett down low. Ball not going anywhere. And neither of the Pies right now.
Geez, Hockey's run. He ran from one wing to the other to be the release player when they changed direction. They're just running stronger now, the Bombers.
So the captain of Collingwood looking on there, powerless at the moment. Thomas under pressure. Not sure he could have done anything else. Oh, wow. Wow. Not sure that you could contort your body to get it to stay in that situation. Man coming across his leg, you've got to be very careful. Still, Essendon deserve to be in front. They deserve to win. They're up by 26. Stanton. Very handy game this afternoon. Kick is on the way. It's just narrow. Stanton up to 28 possessions.
It's amazing. Yes, we know Watson's been great for a couple of years now. But Stanton's always been the one tag. But now Heppel's come through and Goddard's come across for St Kilda and Howlett's improved that. Got a great, and Hockey's a good player too. They've got a good midfield core now.
And when you consider, Lee, that I know Collingwood have got a lot of good players out, but if you drop Ryder and Hurley into this team, back inside, Zaharakis has got a goal in every quarter so far, except the last, and it's a behind.
It is a classic case.
Sorry, Tom, the crowd, this is an incredible response. There are 93,373 here today. It's the third largest crowd, home and away, ever. Been 10 times we've had 90,000 plus, and on 5 of the occasions have been on this Anzac Day match between these two. So it's a great response. 93,373. Only that Queen's birthday in 1958, 99,000 Collingwood and Melbourne, and that first Anzac Day in 95 better.
Hooker standing tall on the outer side. Gumbleton comes at the footy. Hit him in the face. Boundary
2
throw
grand
in.
finals a year, but we know which 2 are played in the first one.
How about that? 97-69, but you can see black and white leaving the arena. Hill, close quarters to Watson, who emerges with the football. Some icing on the cake. Oh, what a finish! The Brownlow medalist, deep in the pocket. That's it.
I just wonder if that'll win him the Anzac medal. I mean, it's going to help, I reckon.
He's been stronger and stronger as the game's gone on. Wasn't so much earlier. I think there was other better play, but it's like Pendlebury and Watson. They just keep going. So if they're going to be consistent over the whole game.
Tim, we're just watching Joe go through and kick the goal. He's had 31 disposals of captain. He's had a great day.
Yeah, he has, and I think their whole midfield, and I've just been saying to Richo down here at the bench, I mean, they're balanced now between attack and defence and the way they cover the field, and they're well drilled. They are a good team.
So Howlett trying to get through, and I just wonder if that goal for Watson might give him favouritism for the Anzac medal. I know, Tom, sorry, I know you're voting on it, and you're one of 3 voters, but it'll be hard to beat.
I won't say what I just scribbled down just before there, Bruce, but a fantastic performance. He's become arguably one of the best captains in the AFL. Really gets his team over the line.
Swans kick forward. Elliott at the back. I think Dennis mentioned earlier he hasn't had a Brownlow vote on this day, but I reckon he'll get one today. Here's Stanton at half back.
Won't get 3, Bruce. Here's Stanton. He's been terrific, Stanton, too. Wonderful foil for Watson. Comes back. Hardingham, wearing number 34, Brian Sampson's old number. Brian played in 2 Essendon premierships, passed away in December. Old teammate at West Perth. Terrific guy. On the boundary line, Myers. He played for Perth in Western Australia. Hardingham for East Fremantle. Sends it beyond the wing. And listen to that chant on what is a national day. Talking about those players from interstate. Shaw straight up in the air and the ball floats out of bounds.
They've got used to the Collingwood. That's the Essendon.
I was trying to decipher what they're actually saying. It doesn't really matter what they're saying, but it's certainly not Collingwood, that's for sure.
Sort of like the disco version. It goes quicker, doesn't it? Short one comes across to Myers. It's a great feeling now. They can savour this victory. As the kick goes down towards half forward, bounces to Brown, gives it off to O'Brien, slips it across towards Clark, stolen off his boot effectively. Davey does brilliantly to Howlett. Okay, it's showcase time. Zaharakis got it from Cramry. Zaka's booted 4.
4 goals and 30 touches.
Gee, he's got some competition, and that's the loudest non-Collingwood roar I've heard.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's an Essendon home game, so that means all the reserve seat holders are Essendons, and that's about 50,000 of them. Toovey went down.
So Toovey looks in big trouble here, which is such a shame. So Zaharakis has had a goal in every quarter, but Tuvi's pretty badly hurt here by the look of it. It's had a big day, Zaharakis. Winning goal famously here in 09, and then seeing Tuvi down there at the moment. He's still in the hands of the trainers, and we'll see the injury now.
Oh, that might have been you hope it's not a knee, but when your own body weight collapses, that usually is a bad knee injury.
So that's such a shocking blow so late. Mr. Reliable, isn't he, Tuvi? He's a favourite of Bucks on, well, we know that.
Has that ability to play tall and small. He's a crowd favourite. He's been pretty good today, I think. Really serviceable for Collingwood across half back. So fingers crossed. It is hard to see what that actually was. Looked like he buckled, but testing the knees, you can see with the doctor there and the pink armband. It's the ACL test that they do to make sure the cruciate ligament's intact or not.
From bad to worse, eh?
Yeah.
Saying a moment ago, as we look at Tuvi, that roar a moment ago was the biggest non-Collingwood roar I reckon we've heard here at the MCG in a long, long time. And the Bombers provided. This is a really sad note for the club, for Collingwood late in this match.
As you see, it's his left leg. When he plants that weight on the outside of his left leg to try and turn back inside, it just looked like it.
You think about Collingwood too. Luke Ball, McCaffer, Cracker. They've had a tough time with knees, Collingwood, in the last 2-3 years.
And a lot of the time they're just simply your own body weight, not someone falling across it, not the trauma one, but just the speed of movement and trying to change direction at such speed puts so much tension through the knee.
It's totally innocuous there.
Every now and again it goes.
Bad luck, and we hope it's good luck for him. But the signs look a bit worrying there, don't they?
Pendlebury, look, the captain, look at the players. That's a great response by those players, and Pendlebury and Seedsman and O'Brien. Doc Larkins, you with us, Doc? I mean, what's your first impressions?
My first impressions is, and I was just saying, it reminds me of the Menzel one from last week, Bruce, ACL medial ligament. So we just see that Alan Tuvi go into a contest and he changes to left leg. Just watch it as it buckles across underneath him, Bruce, there. And all the attention with the doctors has been examining his ligaments of his left knee after this incident. So clearly, it's. I think that's going to be. Look, 90% of those are ACL injuries, Bruce, and he's on the card at the present time.
Thank you for that, Doc. So not what we wanted to hear, but what we probably expected to hear.
Consummate defender. Sad sight so late in the game. Margin 40 points. Fearing the worst, Nathan Buckley. Enjoying the glow of victory, James Hall. I said it before the game, two champs that have thrilled us on this day. Tuvi off the ground. And we'll just go through the movements now to Essendon's victory. Knocked down by Bill Chambers. Thomas. Hudson put the body in. Pendlebury, no way through. Emerging with the football, or trying to, is Howlett. Thomas took him down, and the umpire will ball it up.
Give us some evidence of the power and strength of Howlett there. He just would not be brought down. So Collingwood, nowhere to go right now, really, for them, except a bit of pride at the end of the day. It's been a tough day for them. They've always had to play catch-up footy, and they haven't quite managed it. Russell's had a difficult day. He's stuck to his guns, but he's had some ordinary moments. Side bottoms kick forward, Dempsey, Stanton. Goddard's been really good. And then well played, Dempsey. With a bit of flair late in the day. To half forward and out of play. Just overall, just the battle of the midfield stars. Swan, Pendlebury, Watson, Stanton.
Well, they've probably all been okay. It's just Essendon have just been a little bit better. Collingwood were on top of the clearances early, but the depth of that Essendon half dozen, I think, has been their great strength.
Cramley hard against the boundary line. Angle will open up for the left footer. 109.69. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Cramrey told to play on, goes to Zaharakis. There's been a live wire together with this man, and Windle at Davey goes in and gets another one. Quicksilver. Davey's got his second.
When a side goes to 5-0, and they've had hard-earned wins as well, Essendon, being Adelaide and Freo over in Perth and Collingwood here at the MCG. You start to look at their side through different glasses almost. Gee, they have got some depth in the midfield. Gee, they have got some tall key positions.
We mentioned Heppel's come in. I mean, Goddard's come to the club, and Heppel's sort of come through in about his third year, so they've got a very good group. And Collingwood, I guess, have been overrun like they were against Hawthorn a couple of weeks ago.
So Davies got a good goal-kicking record against the Pies, and on this day as well. So they hadn't kicked 100 points in this match since 2004. Essendon's Lee just said it. There's a little bit of the Hawthorns about this game, and Hawthorn beat Collingwood by 55 points after an even first half, and still they march forward. Brown, Reid have had a lot to do back there today. Shaw off a step. Thomas and Dwyer and Dempsey and Hocking and Dwyer and Dempsey in a good battle, and Dwyer did well like a pinball machine, and a boundary throw in.
Hudson and Bill Chambers. The latter works in front. Pendlebury started brilliantly in this term, kicks it down towards half forward. McCaffrey goes back with a flight of the footy and marks about 60 metres out. Spots a runner wider still, sends it across towards side bottom. His running has been a feature. And on the mark, right on the 50. Side bottom. Every reason to be tired now. Goes down towards the pocket and finds the leading player, Cloak. So unstable times for footy. I think Timothy Boyle said it best, from pep talks to peptides. The language has changed. I guess it's fair to say, too, that Anzac Day remains a rock. Well done to James Hird and the Bombers as the clock goes under 2 minutes.
And Cloak squeezes it home for a second goal. So a few chances today. I mean, Carlisle, you'd have to say, won the battle. Cloak, I think five shots on goal, Cloak, today, with a couple, at least 5. So the next 4 for the Bombers. They've done so much good work in these first 5. So GWS Giants at home, Geelong, gee, that's big. Brisbane and Richmond, well, they're 5-0 for the first time since 2000. We know what happened in 2000. They lost 1 game for the year.
Yeah, a lot of good teams in that mix. Probably not so much the Giants next week, I guess, but certainly they're going to be scared of no team. Yes.
And St Kilda there next week, and then Fremantle, Geelong and Sydney. Thinking back to 2000 when they were 5-0, they won 24 out of 25. That's the closest any team's ever got to black caviar, isn't it? So it was just the Western Bulldogs that spoiled the party for them.
Swan only as far as Zaharakis. Back to Hawking. Hawking kicks inside the forward 50. Reid, who's battled manfully down there, takes the mark. Spots side bottom, out by himself. In fact, it's McCaffrey. McCaffrey takes the mark. Quiet afternoon, not so side bottom. Jared Watson, 31 possessions this afternoon, so too Stanton. McCaffrey kicks beyond the wing. The mark is taken by Hibberd. So just over a minute remaining. Hibberd's been certainly in their best this afternoon when it counted early. His grinding runs, dashing at times out of defence. And the finishing kick, very important. Brown jostles. Zaharakis arrived quickly, knows no other way. Sends it down towards full forward. Back goes Swan. In fact, it's Shaw.
One use of the goalpost.
Trying to knock it over, Lee, to get your...
One use of the point post.
He went behind the post too quickly for me. I could see the legs as he puts it out of bounds on the fall. Well, that's a tired kick. And they've been battered into submission this afternoon.
Symbolic, wasn't it?
Yep.
That little moment from Shaw.
Plenty goal open here at the MCG. The big round oval. You're not as acute angle when you're out on the pocket here.
So Winderlicker has been so good to Big Tom, and they've played like Big Tom today. They've been the masters. So a goal-kicking ruckman, Bell Chambers, as is Ryder, by the way, and Hill has been a bit over the years. They've had a few goal-kicking ruckmen, haven't they? Madden and Salmon. The Shaw's still trying to stretch himself out. And Bell Chambers, well, the icing was already on the cake. It can't get any sweeter. It's a statement, isn't it? It really is. They're back in town. We know they're back in town because we keep reading about them. They're certainly back in town on the field.
Another improver, isn't he? Bell Chambers, he's their main ruckman. I mean, Hill really is filling in for Paddy Ryder while he's suspended, but Bell Chambers has become a good lead ruckman. I mean, that's one area they've dominated Essendon today in the actual hit-outs from the ruck work.
And if you told us a month before the season, after the drug scandal hit, that Essendon would be 5-0, I don't reckon anyone would have believed you. It's been a remarkable turnaround on the field by this footy club.
And you can't underestimate the man on screen right now, Joe Watson, the captain of this footy club. He's taken the club on the back of his shoulders and said, let's just batten down the hatches, play footy the right way and get on with the job.
So the third biggest crowd that have ever been to a home and away game ever. 93,000 today have seen the Bombers. Yes, the Bombers. 121 to the Magpies, 75, and they're 5-0.
Well, Joe, a great win on a really important day.
Yeah, it was. Collingwood had the wood over us for a long time now on Anzac Day, and we haven't beaten them for 7 tries, and it's a huge occasion. It's a wonderful day in Australia, and we're just so privileged to play on it.
They came back right before halftime. They had the momentum. What did you talk about at halftime?
Well, we thought we were playing okay for about a quarter and a half, and then really let them get their ball use going, and we just wanted to defend the ground a bit better than what we were in that later part of the second quarter. I mean, Swan and Sidebot and Pendlebury started to get the ball and just opens up their offence.
Your back line was so good today.
Yeah, I mean, Jackie Carlisle to play on Travis Clyde, who's he's the best key forward in the league, and the help that he got from Dempsey, Bagley, those guys' ability to win one-on-ones enormous for us.
And just tell us about that time in the forward pocket in the last quarter when you used that blistering speed of yours to break away and keep that goal.
Must be genetics.
Well done, mate.
Hey, Dave, terrific effort by yourself. You must be rapt to be back out there fit, 4 goals, terrific team performance.
Yeah, it's great to be back out here. Pretty much at full fitness now, which it's just good to be back playing with the boys. Last year was probably a real tough time for me, and then now the boys have started well this year, and the big stage here, they've beaten us the last 7 times, so it was good to get a win.
Your partner in crime today, Jason Winderlich, he's had injury issues as well. He was inspirational down there today with 3 goals also.
Yeah, he's proven why we've kept him on the list for so long, because he's such a great player. He probably works the hardest as anyone on the ground during game day, and he just provides with that run, and up forward he can kick goals, so he's a great asset.
Looked like you changed your focus a little bit after quarter time. You were bombing the ball a lot from half back, they were chopping you off, but you realised it was probably a day for smaller forwards and adjusted.
Yeah, we spoke about that at quarter time. As you said, we were kicking long, but we weren't getting numbers to the forward ball, and they were sort of slingshotted it, sort of playing fast break footy on us, so we just shored up our defence a little bit in the second quarter and onwards, and we kept them to 75 points, which is a great result for us.
Certainly was. Great team effort. Well done, Dave.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Now for the presentation, let's go down to Hamish McLaughlin.
Would you please welcome the President of the Victorian Returned and Services League Vietnam veteran, Major General David McLaughlin, to present the Anzac Day Medal to the player whose conduct and play during the game best exemplifies the Anzac spirit of skill, courage in adversity, self-sacrifice, teamwork and fair play. And the winner of the Anzac Day Medal is David Zaharakis of the Essendon Football Club.
like to thank Collingwood. It's a great game, always a great game, and they got us the last 7 times, so we owed them one today. To our boys, we've had a good start to the year, and hopefully we can continue from now. We've built on it. And yeah, thanks to the fans. Big crowd today, so thank you.
Congratulations, David. Prior to the presentation of the Anzac Day Trophy, let us first acknowledge the performance of the Collingwood Football Club, who were gallant in defeat today. Would you now please welcome Job Watson and James Hurd to receive the Anzac Day Trophy from Major General David McLaughlin.
Once again, it was a fantastic Anzac Day. To all the supporters and fans, it's such a wonderful occasion to be a part of as a player, and it's made so special by the people who come here and support us, and to the people who are serving this country currently and in the past. Thank you very much. It's just an honour to be a part of it.
Firstly to Collingwood, thank you for being a great opponent. We haven't beaten you for a while, so we owed you one. Anzac Day is a very special day for all of Australia. The Essendon Football Club is very privileged to play in it. We thank you for that opportunity. And lastly, to our supporters, you are the best. We thank you. Stick behind us. Thank you so much.